I think it was about 30 years ago when I was homeless on the streets. And I interacted with a lot of people from all around the world. Where I was homeless, the particular area where I was at is world famous for a particular type of persons in which I represented one of the cream of the crop, if you will, of this tiny segment of world famous people. In my realm of interacting with people all around the world, I believe is about when I heard this. And it was a story about, in the Middle East, it was a Muslim. I'm assuming it's in the Quran. I've been on a mission now to find out where this is at. But in there was when you're walking up to a neighbor's or friend's tent, that to make noise so they know that you're coming, so that you don't sneak up and hear conversations that you're not privy to. And there was lots of different reasons why overhearing a conversation can be problematic. It's just been something that just really stuck with me, that didn't come out of the Christian religion, and just sort of was like this really kind of like golden rule to me from the Muslim faith. And it seemed very logical. And so I have a habit of making little noises and clear my throat and this and that to make sure that when people are outside, that they know that I'm outside, so as not to overhear conversations. Aside from that, I make a lot of content. I engage sometimes with 100 different people in a day on social media. And I make a lot of different TikToks and things like that. And this rule that I have had in my life hasn't ever really found a example, other than it was just always something that I made sure that I would never find myself in the foots of someone who was overhearing a conversation that they weren't part of. And now I'm finding the opposite side of that, where someone has been doing this for a couple of years. And I'm now seeing the results of how these people have created literally a delusion within their own world and caused a lot of problems within their household, because they have taken things of conversations that I've had with other people. And as an example, there was a comment made in some papers, legal papers filed, that said that I said something about skinning their dog. And I just like, that is just not, and for like, well, months now, it seems, I guess, something, it feels like months now. Months have passed, I guess. And I was like, those aren't even words I use. And I just was like, how did those, it just really ate at me, because again, they're just not words that I use. So I just was really eating at me. And I remembered this summer, I was out on my front yard, and I do remember sort of being kind of loud because I was in an argument with someone about a particular that had to do with a very, very particular, narrowly focused conversation about an animal being skinned alive in a video. And I remember making a lot of reply videos defending what someone was trying to twist it into something it clearly was not. And I do remember distinctly there being people outside, but it wasn't like it again, it was sort of like a cultural understanding video that someone was just trying to turn into something dirty and tried to make a blanket statement of, well, I know some of the conversation is people tried to make it a racial thing about Asians, and it was just, they were completely sidestepping the whole point. It just was very vulgar how they were trying to make it. And anyhow, so I think I probably made like 4 or 5 videos on it. And then I realized that they had overheard me and somehow had claimed that I had said it to them. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details, but I can tell you that what I have seen, that seems to be something that happen repeatedly because of some statements made. Now, it's caused me a lot of anxiety because I'm finding out now how they've created this convoluted delusion in their house that's caused a lot of problems for them. There's a lot of terror issues that kind of plague in that and a bunch of just flat out lies in there, and just flat, like, and I've made a video before, but this whole experience has taught me that there is this, all these years and all this stuff that I'm working on, this, what's becoming thousands of moving parts in this whole aspiration to win the Nobel Peace Prize for humanity, the launching of the good ship, just a whole bunch of stuff going on, a whole bunch of everything converging into one spot of focus and energy, and just a lot of really crazy, interesting things happen, unique. And this falls into another one of them. Because like I said, this has been something I have thought about for over 3 decades now, and haven't really had that mind-blowing example of why this is such a good behavior to happen until that moment in time when it was most important that I get it, because it needed to be something that become part of the book. And it's a teaching moment, and it is a testimony of a faith and understanding for it, and I'm going to explore sort of this teaching opportunity in a religious context, as I understand and find out the passage in the Quran or whatever sort of Middle East holy something book, something, because it was always something, like I said, has really been important to my life. And then, like I said, the convergence of everything at this time, it just really hit me strangely. And on a side note, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life. And that video is coming up. What was it? What is today now? Saturday? I guess a week ago. Yesterday, so a week and a day ago, some news come about that is going to definitely change a lot of things, and quicken the pace about getting my papers finished up so I can get this fundraising going, and just shifting a whole bunch of marketing and things as attempts, and just sort of, I think I got a little bit inspired by some of the political stump speeches for governors and Senate and all that kind of stuff. Just sort of the way that they talk and how they fundraise, and, talking about their mission and their passion to get money raised for a purpose. And so I am sort of getting inspired by that. I have here too, might be diving into this little beauty, because I know what I have, I know what I'm doing, and I know how special and spectacular and the very deep roots of stuff involved in it that a lot of people will never really understand, and even the greatest users of the Good Ship platform that I hope to launch would not really have much concept of what it's doing. But it's such a good, positive human genetic building website, literally, the understanding of which will prove itself viable to that truth. And I look forward to getting to that point. I will mention one of my channels is a literary prose reading that I've wrote and stuff like that. There is a 7-foot half beast, antelope ears or horns, beast body and split hooved feet with a Willy Wonka jacket and a corset made with all different kinds of fabrics and sheens and stuff like that. I've already kind of got it kind of styled with like a bright color lining in the Willy Wonka jacket. All fitted to me with my hair done up. Probably going to have some a weave or something to make my hair thicker. My hair is getting to be about here. Once it gets down about here and it's fuller and goes with the horns and all that, that costume I've set aside could cost me $1,000 to build. If I go at this rate, it could be a while before it's built, but I am going to do some fundraisers. That master video that I'm making, I'm always building and planning and incorporating what I have for abilities for video editing, and that is going to be included. So I'm really taking up all my skills. I got to brush up on some things. I'm always kind of learning a little bit more here and there on video editing. There's a few video editing things that I need to get in the future. Again, the video editing license and the sound, the video and the sound licensing together are $700 a year licensing fees. So there's a lot of stuff that's surrounding that. I'm looking at probably about $3,000 I have to come up with before I can post this master video 5-hour thing that I've been talking about on my foundation YouTube channel. That's the Finn Oliver Eamon Seal Foundation page, The Good Ship. You can probably find it there. There's a lot of information. Again, this is the extension of me trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize for humanity for 32 years. I'm pretty proud of myself about it and where I've come and what it looks like. And it's... It's pretty rad, actually. Anyhow, so there's just a lot of stuff going on. And let that be a lesson about listening in and trying to overhear conversations, because you never know what the whole encompassing of someone's conversation. And in particular, someone like me, I'm sort of an extreme case. Like I said, there's days where, you know, there could be hundreds of interactions. I know my best day of making TikTok videos for the most videos in one day was 63 TikTok videos in one day. I mean, that's an outlier in the whole equation. That's not typical. There's days and weeks that I don't know about weeks, maybe, that I'll post. Just trying to kick out different things. I have been kind of making a lot of TikToks because I've been posting a lot about this foundation page that I'm working at. And the conversations seem to be changing with people when I talk about it, the understanding and just the magnitude and just being able to talk with, you know, words that mean, just being able to talk... Just being able to talk with words that are like impactful, like being able to say a safe space, socially responsible, cultural social media page. Those are phrases that mean a lot to certain people, and they're the base foundation of what I'm creating. So there's a lot of things, even to people who may seem threatened or like, oh, I wouldn't like that or that, this or that. The thing is that the end of the whole thing is hopefully there's over 4,000 locations capturing every single culture, microculture, you know, in just a very unique way. So literally you can dial into anything you want. And hopefully there's a Peapod Center that sort of centers around that idea so that you can kind of bounce back in your safe space, but it's also a place where everybody around the world can take a peek in and look at a world that is shown respectfully. The parameters around what can be shown in what sort of manners and stuff like that. Even if you subscribe to a tier where you have like over 22 kind of content, because I'm going to have some weird things in there. But even at that, there's very interesting restrictions. Again, it is always going to be a safe space, socially responsible, cultural social media platform at any level, so that there's no danger that people don't walk away with uncomfortable feelings, but yet get some assimilation or some vibe of what they're seeking, but curb-tailing human behavior and try to create a different sort of mindset. For instance, the way that men look at women is going to be a big influence, and just how we look at minorities and differences in people in general. Again, that's the cultural understanding and just highlighting uniqueness. And, you have the option of dialing in and excluding Peapod centers so you don't see those, regions of the world you can probably, exclude. So when you have your, feed, you get the content that you want. There's a lot of things that are going into this. And like I said, there's a whole commerce back page that's very unique. And then again, it connects all these little culture centers, and I'm really proud of it. But anyhow, there's a lot going on. Again, just a real good lesson, you guys, about being careful when you overhear conversations, because, there's a lot of things that we don't know about people's relationships and what they're doing and stuff like that. And so I think it's just important to try to give, when you get information that, you think you hear, there's always going to be more to it. I know that I've heard some interesting things said by other neighbors that I have made judgments about, but the context is, the context was exploited by the other party. I can tell you that. But I digress. It's not. I'm not at least a bit worried about it. I have a lot of things on my side in this situation, and I look forward to collecting legal data information in front of me and get things on record and stuff like that, because there's going to be some interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing people defend what they think they've diluted their world into. There's just a whole bunch of stuff, but I know the kind of person I am. I know what I haven't done. I know what I've made a point not to do. Like, there's so many examples, and like, there's some sort of mental illness thing going on that is not like a common thing. Like, there's a lot of people like me that have PTSD and anxiety. That seems to be like a really common thing these days. Whatever is going on with what I'm dealing with a group of people is a whole nother level, and I really don't. I've even pleaded with the police. I'm like, I don't know how to handle whatever is happening, because there's a whole different something going on there that I'm unfamiliar. There's the vile, vulgar, just incredibly disturbing, mental, disgusting, like, stuff and approach that's being said is like, even in this lesson that I've been carrying for 30 years coming to a front, these are together, but yet they're separate in their own energy. They're just two very ugly energies that have come together and combined, and it's created this glowing orb sphere of evil, as far as I'm concerned. And it's sort of a gross thing to witness, and I don't know what to do much about it as of yet. When the money comes in separate, so there's a lot of, for instance, when donations are run, just in case people who watch me that are local, that don't really know me, but do know some stuff, and they kind of trying to pick up little bits and things and think they might know, ooh, that sounds suspicious, or this or that. On these parts of raising money and different there's I have the two other people that are going to be for the filing of the nonprofit license. Like, any funds that come in, for instance, I'm the brains behind the project. If funds come in, for instance, if there is a trip to be made to go meet with somebody, one of those other party individuals will be making the reservations, and then the phone will be transferred and the other person will be paying for it. I won't even have anything in control of being the actual person who orders and makes a reservation or pays for something. I will never be the one that initiates the purchase, and I will never be the one who actually pays for the thing. I will never have anything to do with any of the donations that come in, unless you specifically donate them to me. And so once things kind of get going, things will be split up. You know, this is not a fly-by-night deal. This particular part of the enterprise says this January will be 3 years in the making. The overall ambition is over 3 decades in the making. So I'm going to close here and keep it at that. Just words of wisdom again. I think these are really, really wonderful things. I know that it's not a very common trait in America, a lot of eavesdropping, and there's just a lot of culture that is the opposite of this in America. I see that. I've been talking about this one video about social responsibility of creators on YouTube that I'm making, and there's a handful of creators involved in that madness that I've used to make an example of, because I think they're really good examples of people that can really can converge and create a disaster on YouTube. And I think that they're just enough of perfect and question to make the example good without just automatically hating a certain one. I mean, there are always going to be people who just hate a certain one for whatever. There's 1,000 different millions of reasons people just, I'm done. But anyhow, I have put a lot of effort into that video. I've probably put over 100 hours into making that video. It's still to be edited. I got more important things, my own life I'm dealing with. But I'm planning on posting that sometime in December, probably. There's actually still stuff kind of going on, believe it or not, a month or so later. So I'm still kind of collecting a little bit of videos for that master video. I'm referring to the Ophelia Nichols and Charles Wrestler video, for that matter. And there's a few other people involved, but there's been some odd stuff that I'm going to throw in there, so I'm not really sure how I want to make that video, because the video is supposed to be a learning thing, but there's like some unrelated things that I have found happen that I found interesting, and just some things about some creators that I found very interesting what they were trying to do. And I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, I'm done. This time I'm done. I'm going to quick edit this out and then go on about my merry way. Bye.